Well, this week, Austin is hosting one of the largest gatherings of Latino leaders in the country. UnidosUS is the nation's largest Latino civil rights and advocacy organizations and is holding its annual conference and bringing together more than 1,000 advocates, policymakers, and community leaders right here. So joining us this afternoon is Janet Murguía, the president and CEO of UnidosUS. Janet, welcome to our show, and thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Will. It's wonderful to be here. It's exciting to be in Austin.
I wish the weather was a little bit better for you all, that you had some relief, but thankfully the conference, I'd imagine, is indoors.
It'll be indoors,
That's
and
good.
we'll keep things at a cool temperature so everyone can enjoy the important information we're going to be sharing in the activities.
Certainly a busy week for you all. Talk to us about what's in store for the people who will be here for the conference.
Yeah, well, Texas is ground zero for so many issues facing the Hispanic community. A lot of folks don't realize that 40% of Texas population is Hispanic and Latino. So we're excited to gather here in Austin and really take up a lot of the conversations that our folks are sensing across communities. There's real concern and fear when it comes to immigration enforcement. There's a lot of concern about the economy and inflation. And a lot of folks are obviously very interested in using their vote to make a difference. And so we'll be activating and mobilizing a lot of folks around how to vote and what steps they can take here in Texas, across the country. And really for us, a theme will be about, building power. And so we'll focus and talk about all of those things, and hopefully folks will leave energized, informed, and really ready to take on the next few months.
Yeah, especially less than 100 days away from the midterm elections. But you really set me up for my next question here, so I appreciate that. But UnidosUS released a new bipartisan poll that had shown the economy remains the top concern for many Latino voters, reflecting what a lot of other polls have shown too. And one number that stood out in that poll to me was that only 15% or so of Latino voters say they're living comfortably right now. What are you hearing from families about their concerns with the economy?
Yeah, we're hearing stories across Texas. I was in South Texas a couple of months ago, but really across the country, about how inflation is still really high and making many folks feel like they're having trouble make ends meet. They're concerned about wages. And so just concerned about the economy. And a lot of folks do not approve right now what's happening in the economy and the direction of the country. So we've put together an economic prosperity agenda that we'll be focusing on, because we think it's important to bring solutions and not just have folks sort of just focus on what's wrong. And we want folks to be informed and educated so that when they're talking to their elected officials, to decision makers, they're able to point out to some of the policy or program investments that we know are going to be important.
Yeah, if you don't mind sharing about what some of those solutions that you're putting forward, what those involve.
Sure. Well, for us, a lot of folks want access to, they see housing prices as very high right now, and they want access to home ownership. A lot of folks in the Latino community still feel like home ownership is part of the heart of the American dream. Well, for us at UnidosUS, we've had a long history of home ownership counseling, of taking people through the steps that they need to take so they can finally get in and purchase their first-time home. This year we put our 50,000th homeowner into their first-time home. And so folks will be able to hear about this home ownership counseling services and the need to invest in that for policymakers to understand. And we've had support from bipartisan policymakers in the past, but driving solutions that are going to bring really not just prosperity for the Latino community, but for everyone are going to be areas that we'll focus on. So whether it's, again, immigration and the challenges, real concern will around the deaths, the killings that have occurred at the hands of overreach and extreme enforcement efforts. We saw in Houston, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo tragically killed, not the target, hardworking, someone who was trying to go to work and yet killed. So that's bringing a lot of concern, and we want to tell our folks that they have certain rights, and that we want folks to know when they see these types of activities, what can they do? And we have a lot of folks who are connecting to legal supports and services. But ultimately, we need immigration reform, and we've got a proposal for that we'll be laying out that really reflects more of the values that we want to see in there.
It seems like and sounds like a broad umbrella of different topics that will be discussed this week during the conference. But one more thing I want to ask you before we let you go and you can enjoy the rest of your week.
Okay.
The poll shows that 76% of those 3,000 or so Latino voters that you talked to in the poll say they plan to vote come November. What kind of impact could that have on the level of engagement should all those voters show up come November?
Well, that for us is really key. We know that there's a high level of interest among our Latino voters this year who see that actually that they are going to be very intentional about voting. When we see the full outcome of Latino voters, whether it's in a state like Texas or across the country, we believe they can tip the balance in what direction these elections will turn out. A lot of eyes here on Texas, on the Senate race that we're seeing. We're actually going to hear from the Senate candidate, James Tallarico, and he'll be speaking to our conference.
Okay, yeah.
But we'll be hearing from others, national speakers, but the elections will be key, and we want to make sure that folks are mobilized, educated, and informed as they go to the voting booth, and that if there are challenges, and we're seeing a lot of folks talking about maybe changing the way our elections this late in the game, we want to make sure our Latino voters understand what steps they could take to make sure that their vote will count and they can vote early or vote on election day.
There are so many other topics that I wish we could touch on, but time is of the short essence here today. But Janet Murguía with UnidosUS, thank you again for joining us, and good luck with what happens this week here in Austin. We welcome you to town, so thanks again.
Thanks. We're so excited to be here in Austin. Thank you.
All right.